Uh, Hi, Naveen. Yes, let's start with the self-introduction.
Yeah, hi Ashok. My name is Naveen. I have overall experience of 3 years into the IT industry and relevancy of 2 years into the Dynamics Technology 365. My overall works include in creating an entity, creating the fields, creating the wheels, dashboards, worked with workflows, creating and business process, and work with the plugins, and also the JavaScript client side JavaScript, and also with the Power Automate field.
Okay, and మీరు కొంచెం మైక్ దూరం పెట్టుకున్నట్టున్నారు. Getting very low voice. Try to
No
adjust.
problem. Yeah, one second. Now it is okay.
Yeah, it's fine now. So you make sure you speak loudly. Yeah. So do you know the plugins in CRM?
Yes, sir.
So when do you use plugins?
When we need to perform the client side no, sorry, server side validations, we'll go for the plugin customization.
It's a not for the validation actually. There is any requirement or business requirement or business logic if you wanted to implement it
If you
server
wanted
side.
to implement any server side business logic, we'll go for plugins.
Yeah. And so when do we use the JavaScript?
Yeah, JavaScript, we use JavaScript for the client side validations, like when we want to directly interact with the forms, when we need to show the fields tabs, when we need to set required levels or visibilities, when we
Mm.
directly want to interact with the form level events, we'll go with the JavaScript.
And what is the importance of the business rules?
Yeah, business rules. This also will work on the client side only. Limited. We can also perform some of the actions like we can show error messages. We can set and disable lock and unlock, and we can set the business required
Mm.
recommendations to the fields on the form. And the importance is for very without going for a coding. Like we can also implement these some of the functions using JavaScript without going to the no code, low code using the business requirements. We can fulfill this some of the validation.
Okay. And is there any limitation in the business rules? Can we use all data type of fields, or is there any limitation?
Business goals, we can use option sets, we can use multi-text, we can
Mm. Can we use the multi-select option set in the business rule?
business multi-select option sets. Yes, we can use for only lock and unlock.
Mm. And how about the calculated fields and ruler fields? Can we use it in the business rules?
No, we cannot use the calculated and roll-up fields in business tools because calculated and roll-up fields are will run on runtime. So we cannot, and these are all these fields are read only. So we cannot perform business rules on calculated and roll-up fields.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
Yeah, sure.
సో యూ వాలిడేట్ ఆఫ్టర్ అవర్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ ప్రాక్టికల్గా వాలిడేట్ చేయండి వర్క్ అవుతుందా లేదా చూడండి ఓకే అండ్ సో లెట్స్ సే ఐ హా ఐ ఐ హ్యావ్ అ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ సో వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఈవెంట్ ఐ డూ హ్యావ్ ద ప్లగిన్ అండ్ ఐ ఆల్సో హ్యావ్ ద సారీ ఐ డూ హ్యావ్ ద జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ and I also have the business rules. One of the
Okay.
field change, I have the two logics. One is business rule, one is JavaScript. So which one will trigger first?
Uh, Compared to both,
Yeah.
yeah, both will work on client side. Both will trigger JavaScript before saving the record. It will
But
reflect.
which one will trigger first on the same event if I have the two functionalities?
Okay.
So what is the sequence? Which one will trigger first and which one will trigger second?
A low code, no code business rules will trigger first, and then JavaScript
Mm-hmm. So this one also you validate practically.
and time.
And do you know the scope of the business rules?
Yes, we have three types of scopes.
What are they
When
and what is the purpose?
Yeah, scope defines where when the business rules must be applicable in the system. We have three types of scopes: entity, all forms, and we have one more, a main form. Entities, all forms, and main form. And entity, when we do scope as entity, we can create records for both client side and server side. If we give the forms, we can create records only from the UI side, from client side, and for
Mhm.
all forms also we can for main form also we can create only on from the client side.
So not the main form, a specific form,
Yeah, specific
main
form.
forms list. And so the thing is, it's not about the create of record. It's something like the logic will work
Logic, yeah,
both
logic will work for both
both server side and client side. That is how it
clients.
should be.
Yeah.
And what are all form types available in the CRM?
Form types, we have main form, quick create form, quick view form, and card form,
Main form, quick view form, quick create.
and card form.
Okay. And can we use business rules in the quick create form?
Yeah, we can use it.
Will it allow?
Yeah, it will allow because quick create form is without navigating to the another page with a limited number of fields, we can create a record. On that record, we can apply the business, no issue.
On that form, we can apply business rule. What is the scope we have to select? Let's say I have
Yeah,
a requirement, my business rule. I wanted to execute only for the quick create, not for the main form. Is it possible? And what is the approach?
once again, sir.
So the question is, I have a requirement
Okay,
on the requirement is on one of the entity. I have the two forms.
okay, two forms we have.
One is main form, one is quick create form.
Okay,
So I implemented one of the business rule. The business rule should work only for the quick create and it should not work for the main form. If I create record from the main form, the business rule will not work. If I create a record from the quick create form, the business rule should work. Is it possible?
by setting the scope, we can achieve it. Sure.
So what is the scope we have to set?
For both to execute, we can give the entity. For any of the one, we need to give the form.
Form specific we need to provide is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you validate this once practically after the session.
Okay.
And in the CRM, what are the limitations for the calculated fields?
Calculated fields, we cannot calculated fields using JavaScript. We cannot call a calculated field. Using a plugin, we cannot. Using a workflow, we cannot call a calculated. And calculated field only restricted to the parent entities. Based on the parent entities, only the calculated fields will get updated. Taking all the field values from the parent, the calculated field will be working.
Mhm.
And I think we will not using fetch XML we cannot capture the calculated field.
Okay. So I have a requirement here. I have two users in the CRM, manager and salesperson.
Okay,
If I log in with the manager, I wanted to see the two forms. I have separate forms like manager and salesperson. If I
okay,
log in with manager, I wanted to see both the forms. But if I log in with the salesperson, I want to see only the salesperson form. Is it possible?
yeah, possible, Ashok.
And
By using the security codes, forms we will create two forms, two main forms,
Mhm.
and for the manager level we'll assign the different security levels, and for the salesperson we'll give the different security levels. So by that we can achieve.
So how do you achieve? If you're just giving the security roles at user level, will it work?
At the user level,
So we have to enable form for the security role, right? Form security we have to enable, right?
form security.
Like enable form for the specific security role. Yeah. So do you know about the model-driven apps?
Yeah,
And what is the importance of model-driven app?
the importance of model structure.
Yeah.
Model, we have different types of apps like the camel custom model
Yeah.
CRM.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
do you know about the plugins?
yeah, so
How many plugins have you implemented in your career?
not to the more have implemented only to the basic levels of
How many approximately?
approximately just to
Sorry, only?
in,
Your voice is very low again.
yeah, 1 second, Ashok. As per the assignments, we have implemented nearly 10 plugins, 5 to 10 plugins.
10 plugins, is it?
Yeah, not 10, I guess exactly.
Can you just let us know what is the s- requirement for which requirement you have implemented plugin?
Yeah, for populating the full name,
One of your
we
recent requirement, can you just explain?
Yeah, one of my very basic requirement is we need to populate the full name using the
Mm.
first name and last name. We need to populate that full name. So that is one of the requirement. And for retrieving the multiple records, like say if one of the field in the parent entity gets updated, that related child entities, subgrid entities also must get updated.
Mhm.
That fields also must get updated. That is one of the recent plugins implemented.
Okay, but the population of full name Why did you implement plugin? We can simply do by using workflow, right?
Yeah, we can go using workflow.
Yeah, so you have to explain the proper one. The simple one we discussed only for the learning purpose.
Okay.
The second one is fine.
Okay.
And may I know the what is the most difficult task you have faced and how did you manage to resolve?
The most difficult task.
Yeah.
Yeah, regarding the date and time.
What do
Yeah,
you mean by date and time? Sorry, what do you mean by date and time?
yeah, one second. Date and time in sense when
So what is the pipeline stage in the plugin?
yeah, we have three types of stages: pre-validation, pre-operation, and post-op.
Mm-hmm.
We have three types. Shall I elaborate?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, in pre-operation, whenever the record is created, the records will be more. The records will be before saving into the database. It will move to the pre-operation, and there it will check for any pre-operation plugins are executed or not. If any pre-operation plugins existed in that pre-operation, including that plugins, all the fields will get saved into the server without additional use of create or update actions. We can directly save that fields into the server. Whereas in post operation, the data will directly get saved into CRM server, and then it will move to the post operation. There, in post operation, if you have any plugins registered at the post operation, additionally, we need to create a record, and then we need to send it to the server for saving. Additionally, we need to create or update a record, and we need to save it in the CR.
So we do have the rollback concept. What will happen at these three stages? How the rollback will work in the three stages?
A rollback in asynchronous mode, there will be no rollback, and the records will get created, but there will be no data consistency for the records which get saved in the database.
Okay, rollback. I'm asking about at pipeline stage. Let's say if I have a plugin, the plugin is registered in the pre-operation.
Okay.
Somehow the plugin is failed. So whatever the operations I'm doing inside the plugin, so
It
will
will
that
not
get
get
saved?
rolled back. It will not get rolled back. It will be
Uh,
saved, but that record will be also created, but not the data will be having no consistency,
So let's say
no
you have a
proper data.
requirement here. Let it be more specific.
Okay.
On creation of the contact, I have a plugin and plugin registered in the pre-operation.
Okay.
And so inside the plugin, somehow the plugin is getting failed because of some data issue.
Okay.
If the fl-
Pre-operation, all the changes what we have made, it will get rolled back, and the record will not get saved.
so if it is on the first operation,
Post
say plugin.
operation, the same plugin, it will get saved. It will not roll back, but the data there will be the data inconsistency when the record is saved. I mean, the proper data will not be saved in the server.
So record will get created in the post operation.
Yeah.
Can we make pre-operation plugin as asynchronous mode? Can we execute one of the pre-operation plugin?
Yes, by making it as synchronous, we can operate.
We can make synchronous as asynchronous as a.
Yeah, we can operate.
Mhm. So you revalidate once all these questions and you match with your answers. Are they correct or not? Okay,
Okay.
practical గా validate చేసి చూడండి. And so I have a, scenario based question here. So on creation of the account record, I have plugin and I also have the workflow.
Okay.
So which one will trigger first?
Workflow.
Workflow will trigger first, is it? What is the
Yeah.
reason?
Because the workflow, one second question.
Sorry?
Workflow, one second question, please.
So which one will trigger faster? Workflow will trigger
Workflow,
or plugin will trigger?
workflow will trigger.
Mhm. So
So,
let's say I have two plugins on the same event. On creation of the account, I have two plugins.
okay.
Both are on the same event. So can I control the sequence? I wanted to execute, let's say plugin A, plugin B. I wanted to execute plugin A first, then after plugin B. Can we control the sequence, execution sequence?
Yeah, yes, Ashok. By using the execution parameter order, by giving the sequence, we can control. Order one we can give and we can control.
Okay. So like earlier, you have mentioned one of the plugin you implemented complex one, right? On
Yeah,
a parent record update, you are updating all the child records.
yeah,
So update logic is implemented inside the plugin, right? Inside the plugin, you implemented the update logic. Am I right?
Yeah.
So here the question is, my plugin is running as current logged in user context, but one of the user doesn't have permissions to update the child records.
Okay.
So in that case, what will happen? Will that plugin get failed or success?
So once repeat again.
So the requirement is same as what you have explained. You mentioned like you have implemented a plugin
Yeah.
on parent record update. You are updating all the child records from the subgrid.
Subgrid, yes.
So same plugin, I'm executing it as calling user context. But so I logged in as a Ashok A to the CRM.
Okay.
I have update access at the parent entity, but I don't have update access at the child entity.
Okay.
So when I'm trying to update the parent entity, my plugin will trigger and the plugin will process to execute all the child records. I execute and update trying to update
Yeah.
all the child records.
The
So
user
what
is
will
only
happen?
having the access to the parent record, but not to the child record.
Yeah, child
So
record,
what
he only have read access. He
read
doesn't have
access,
update access.
update access?
So what will happen? Will that plugin fail or will that plugin will not update any data in the child?
I think it will not. The plugin will not execute also if you don't do not have access.
So will it throw any exception or logic will not perform without any exception?
I think logic will not be in the error. I think it will throw an exception regarding the security issue.
So I have a requirement. I have two plugins, plugin A, plugin B. I wanted to transfer data from plugin A to plugin B. Is it possible?
Transfer from data plugin A to plugin.
So do we know shared variable concept?
Yeah, sir. For
Yeah.
sharing the records.
For sharing the data, shared variable inside plugin there is a concept
Yeah. It's a
shared
shared
variable.
variable. Yeah.
By using shared variable, we can transfer data from one plugin to another
To
plugin.
another plugin. Yes, sir.
So I have a requirement here, an account entity. Okay, I have the fields, gender and date of birth field is there.
Gender,
So
date of birth.
gender, date of birth field is there, and also
Okay.
some of other fields as well.
Okay.
So on date of birth field, I just opened existing record. On date of birth field change, I have business rule, and I also have the JavaScript, and I also have the workflow, and I also have the plugin.
Okay.
On single field change, I have the four components: plugin, JavaScript, business rule, and
Okay.
workflow. So what is the execution sequence? Which one will trigger first?
Execution sequence means that business rule.
Business rule will trigger first, is it?
Yeah, client side validations will trigger first, and the server side will
Then
trigger
after,
to.
either,
Then
either
after the
after this,
client
uh,
side will trigger.
correct. Instead of can you please explain in more specific manner? I just
Like
mentioned four components.
yeah, like a business will execute,
Hmm.
and then JS,
Hmm.
and then workflow, and then plugin.
Okay.
Why? Because we will be looking more on to reduce the stress on the server side
Hmm.
as possible as we will go with the client side validation.
So if my workflow is executing as asynchronous mode,
Okay,
background
background.
workflow.
Yeah.
So in that case, which one will trigger first? Plugin will trigger or workflow will trigger?
Workflows we will be having the scheduled that if it is instant, the workflow will be executing first, or if it is scheduled workflow.
No, scheduled workflow is not possible inside workflow, right? So I'm
Oh,
talking about the field change.
sorry. Yeah, field check. Sorry.
Field change, simple question. So my question is, you already mentioned the execution order.
Yeah.
Execution order is business rule, then JS, then workflow, then plugin you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So my simple question is, workflow I made it as a execute as a
Background code.
background. So what is the execution sequence? Will it same sequence or will there be any change?
We'll go with the same sequence.
Sorry,
It will go with the same sequence.
it will
No
go with the
change.
same sequences.
Yeah.
So you cross validate once. What is the images in the plugin?
Yeah, we have two images, pre-image and post-image.
Mm.
In pre-image, we'll be having all the field values which were created or saved and which were available at the save of the records. In the post-image, we'll be having the all the updated fields.
Post image all the updated fields, is it?
Yeah.
If the field is not updating,
If the field is not updating, then no issue. We can we don't have any fields in the post.
can we get that field value in the post or not? Let's say I have first name, last name fields.
Okay.
So can I updated only the first name? Last name is not updated. Will I get value? Still, will I get the value? in the post image.
It is not getting updated.
Yeah, not updated from the UI. I just updated only first name. So will I get the value in the post image for that last name as well?
We'll be getting the null value, not updated.
Null values, eh?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
sure.
But
To
if you are including,
just
what is the
to
purpose of the post image? Post image purpose is you're trying to get the values even though if it is updated or not updated, right?
yeah, updated,
Whether it is updated or not
not
updated, still we
updated.
will get, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But you're saying null we will get from the source record info. In case if you are using the source record info,
yeah, yeah.
target one, we will get the null.
Yep.
So I have a requirement. My plugin somehow it is showing as infinite loop exception.
Okay.
So how we can overcome the infinite loop exception?
While giving the context dot depth greater than one, we can control the infinite loop.
What is the depth? What it will show? What
It
is the
will show
purpose
that,
of depth?
yeah, it will indicate the what we call that sequential order. It will indicate and it will get terminated of the program. The condition is exceeded.
And so the depth is a different purpose from what is the triggering source? Is it from the platform or is it because of any other processes? Depth will keep on increase. If it is from platform, it is one. Then if it is from other sources, it will be increased by one. Okay. And so how we can manage the errors in the plugin?
In plugin, by using the try catch method and by using the debug.
So how we can implement the JavaScript? Can you just explain the steps? I wanted to add one of the event and change up the first name.
Okay.
Can you just explain the steps from scratch?
From scratch, if you want to implement JavaScript, first we need to take the initial reference code, and
Hmm.
then we need to change the function name, and then we need, according to the requirement, we need to, for example, say, basic example, if we need to get the first name and last name, and we need to add it, we'll first get by using the get syntax, set syntax, we'll get the values from the form by using that form context is equal to xrm.form context. The get attribute will be giving the field name, and the by dot get value will be getting the value. If you wanted to set any of the value, the same using the set value, and we'll be giving the value in the set value. That way we can set the value, and after that we need to we need to load the plugin into the system using the web resource. Web
So
resource is
plugin is it's a web resource, right? JavaScript, right?
sorry,
Hmm.
JavaScript. We need to load into the system using the web resources. After loading, we need to add the events in the form. We need to go to the form, open the form, and where we need to trigger, open that, and we'll be going to the event handlers. In library, we'll be adding the on change, on save, or field change, and save and publish. In that way, we will execute the JavaScript.
So what are all the events available in the CRM JavaScript?
We have three: on load, on save, on change.
Okay. Can you just give me the scenario where you have implemented the JavaScript?
JavaScript.
Can you just explain me one of the scenario where you have implemented the JavaScript instead of business rule?
Instead of business rule,
Yeah.
we can lock, unlock.
No,
We
you
can
just
set
give me the scenario, one of your recent scenario.
one of my. I mean, instead of business rules, where we have implemented JavaScript.
Yes.
Okay, we set the default value, set field value. We have implemented using the JavaScript. If yeah, I mean, taking the condition that if number of units greater than 10, we'll be setting the field value as something, and if it is greater than 20, we'll be setting some another value as a set field value.
So that is structure and all panel don't know, right? The units and all.
And I mean, considering the example.
Example, you should be with the more specific manner. But that one we can implement by using business rule as well. You have to
Uh,
explain show hide the section which is not possible with the uh, business rule. Based on the one of the option set value, we are showing and hiding the sections, right?
Yeah, based
On the
on option
hospital
set, yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So you just mention in the
taking the
generic way.
condition,
Yeah, so I have a requirement. One of the options that field change, I wanted to show and hide the sections.
yeah, based
So that is how you have to explain.
okay,
And so do you have you worked on the Power Automate flows?
yes, sir.
So how we can manage the error errors in Power Automate flows?
By using the try catch. More specifically, we can say it so by using the scope, we can manage
Can you just explain in more specific manner how we can
uh,
use try catch?
yeah, we'll be adding the update or creating the scope for in the scope. And if any, at all any errors we'll be getting that process errors. And in runtime we can set it.
Set it what? So you have to explain like we need to add two scopes first.
Yeah,
And the
two scopes.
first one we have to add the business logic. Second one, there is a configuration settings. Execute only if the first one is failed. And that is how you have to explain.
Okay.
And so how many types of Power Automate flows we have?
Yeah, for automate we have instant, schedule,
Mm.
and
What is third one?
runtime. Sorry, not runtime.
Automated, right?
Yeah, automated.
So I have a requirement. I wanted to execute the Power Automate flow only if the first name is changed on update of the entity, account entity, but I have to consider only one of the field first name. So how we can make it trigger only on update of one of the field, the Power Automate flow?
Only one field is getting up.
So I don't want to trigger all the time. Let's say I have a gender field, date of birth field, first name, last name. I have four fields.
Yeah,
If I try to open the one of the account record and if I try to update date of birth, my Power Automate flow should not trigger. If I try to open account record, if I try to open gender, my Power Automate flow should not trigger. It has to trigger only if I update first name.
only. Yeah, we'll update in the update scenario. We'll be giving only that one field. Like when only updated first field, it will get triggered.
Where do you give that instructions?
While creating the power while creating the power automate, will be
Yeah, under which property do you give?
and yeah, we'll be selecting all the pixels. Okay.
So you cross check that once again. So there is a property filtering attributes.
Yeah, filtering at. But there we only
Select columns or filtering rows, something is there. That property name you have to mention.
instead of selecting all the fields, we'll be selecting what are all we need to
That
update.
is in
We'll
the
be
plugin. There you have to enter the schema names in Power Automate Flow with comma separated.
with com.
And I wanted to send email, create email and send email using Power Automate Flow. Can we do
Yeah,
CRM email? So what
yeah,
is the action do you use?
on create.
No, no. I wanted to create a email by using Power Automate Flow
Okay.
and also send to the customer. On creation of the contact record, I wanted to send welcome email to the contact, newly created contact or lead. So what actions, what kind of Power Automate flow do you create first? My requirement is simple. On creation of the lead, I wanted to send email by using the Power Automate flow.
On
So what type of Power Automate flow do you choose and what are all actions do you choose inside that?
yeah, we will use this.
Sorry, did you understand the
Yeah,
requirement
yeah, yeah,
first?
yeah, I got it from.
Okay.
We'll use the data. We'll use the data works, and that we'll take the update record, and then we'll give the name, and then we'll update the what we'll take the GUID.
So this one you validate once. Okay. Have you worked on the Canvas apps?
Yeah, that's
So
okay.
what are all the controls available in the Canvas app?
Controls in Canvas app, we have
What is the difference between Canvas app and model driven app?
Canvas app. It is only having the specific requirement. We can use it for small scale. I mean, for tab mobiles for small scale resolutions. Canvas app.
So I wanted to connect SQL database, not the CRM database.
Okay.
In Canvas app, I want to pull data from the SQL and show it to the UI. Is it possible instead of connecting to CRM database?
We'll connect.
So can we show data from the CRM and build our Canvas app?
Yeah, we can build it.
But instead of getting data from the CRM, can we take it from the SQL data source database?
Yeah, from any database we can get the data.
So do you have any integration experience?
Yeah, using Power Automates, we have integrated from
What
another systems. Yeah,
can you just explain the scenario? What purpose you have implemented?
from Google Sheets, we have taken the data, we have integrated it with the Power Automates, and we have imported the data from the Google,
Okay.
and we have created the records in the system.
Mhm. Okay.
And we have many other data source we can connect with Outlook, Gmail, and we can integrate with.
Do you know out of the box sales life cycle?
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, can you just explain?
Sales life cycle starts with leads, leads, quotes, then with
Leads and then?
leads, opportunity,
Uh,
quotation,
uh,
invoice, order, and then invoice.
mm.
Yeah.
But you need to explain the each
Yeah,
entity. How is
yeah.
the
In
process?
leads, in leads, it starts with the prior to the market. The marketing team will be marketing the regarding the product, and we will be getting some of the interested leads from the marketing, and those leads will be given to the team, and the leads team will be connecting with the customer, and they will be explaining about the product. If the customer is interested with the product, then the leads team will make it as qualified, and then the opportunity record will be created in the opportunity. Furthermore, discussions will be going on with the customer, and in this stage, the products also will be getting added into the opportunity.
Mm.
And while the product will get we can add products into the in this stage in our opportunity records. And if the customer is okay with the any of the product, the we'll create quotation. And if it is all okay with the quotation, and order will be generated. If any regarding the quotation, if any bargaining issues, make we can make another quotation,
Mhm.
and we can if the customer is happy with the quotation, then we can create an order on the customer name, and then the last is the generating of invoice, and then with the invoice, the sales life cycle will get completed. And
Uh,
while creation of the leads, three records will be created in contact, in account, and in opportunity.
Is
Three
it on
records will be
creation of lead,
created.
is it?
Yeah, on creation of lead, parallelly three records will be created.
It's not on creation, on qualification of the lead, right?
On qualification, yes, sorry, on qualification of lead.
Okay, Naveen. So that's it. Good. But you have to improve a little bit. మీరు 60% ఓకే 40% ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవాలి. కొన్ని సినారియో బేస్డ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ కానీ కొన్ని టాపిక్స్ బేసిక్ థింగ్స్ మిస్ అవుతున్నవి. సో ఒకసారి ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వండి అవన్నీ.
అంటే ఇంప్రూవ్
అసైన్మెంట్
ఏ
అసైన్మెంట్స్
పర్స్పెక్టివ్.
అవన్నీ అసైన్మెంట్స్ అవన్నీ చేసి సినారియో బేస్డ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ మీకు మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి రిఫర్ చేసుకోండి. ఇది మీరు ఎక్కడ రాంగ్ చెప్పారు అంటే ప్రాక్టికల్గా మనం అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్స్ ప్రాక్టికల్గా చేయండి మీ
ఓకే.
సిస్టంలో. సో ఎక్కడ రాంగ్ చెప్పారో ఎక్కడ కరెక్ట్ చెప్పారో సెల్ఫ్ అనలైజ్ చేసుకోండి. అప్పుడు మీకు అర్థమవుద్ది మీరు ఏ లెవెల్లో ఉన్నారు, ఏ లెవెల్లో ఇంప్రూవ్ అవ్వాలనేది. యా. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Yeah, thank you. And it will record